Colleagues, it's the appointed time and we have already formed a quorum. Please take your seats and we'll get started. We've arranged for 2 sessions today. During the first session, we'll have the first session first, and then afterwards we'll have a 10-minute break, and then the next session will start at 5:40. Just a reminder for members, that is, if members have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest to the matter under discussion today, in accordance with Rules 83A of the Rules of Procedure, please disclose the nature of such interest before you speak on the subject. And also, may I draw members' attention to Rule 84 of the Rules of Procedure with regard to the voting procedures where there is direct pecuniary interest. First item, FCR 2013-14-31. This item seeks approval of the recommendations of the PWSC made at its meetings held on the 24th of June and the 2nd of July. There are 4 proposals together, and some members of the PWSC asked that 3 items, that is PWSC 2013-14, 17, 20, and 21, be voted on separately, so that they will be taken out and voted on separately. If members do not have other questions, then I'll be taking out PWSC 2013-14, 17, 20, and 21, so that FCR 2013-14 close bracket 31 will be put to the vote on that basis. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the majority of the members participating in the vote are in favor. The motion is passed. The first item for separate voting is PWSC 2013-14, 17, and this paper seeks to upgrade 163DR to Cat A at an estimated cost of $6.5 billion as to develop the International Cuisine College at Kok Fu Lam. And we have Ms. Michelle Lee, Deputy Secretary for Education, Ms. Pak Vin Yung, Principal Assistant Secretary, Mr. Leung Kem Pui, Chief Technical Advisor, Subvented Projects, Mr. Gary Au, Senior Assistant Executive Director, Corporate Governance from the VTC, and Dr. Lee Kin Wang, Head of Estates Health and Safety Division from the VTC, and Ms. Rosanna Law, Deputy Commissioner for Tourism. Does any member wish to speak? Ms. Sito, 5 minutes, please. Thank you, Chairman. Whether it's Public Works or Education, I've already expressed the same opinion, but I haven't heard a satisfactory reply yet. That is about the outlook of the building is very nice, but then there is going to be glass curtain, and I'm concerned about the reflection, and that might become quite a nuisance to those living in Kok Fu Lam village. In fact, with regard to the design of this building in particular, is really not compatible with the balcony right next to it. So concerning the construction of this building, I have no qualms whatsoever. But then, and also for the appearance and also the interior design, I have no qualms either. But then, what about the materials to be used? I do have some reservation about the glass curtain wall. So can anybody respond to that, Mr. Au? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Ho, for your concern. In fact, we have taken this up in the past with others on this, and indeed we've also talked to our architectural advisor, and they are going to use non-reflective materials in the construction. So you might be concerned about the mirror impact or the glass curtain wall and so on. Your concerns are unwarranted. There would not be such problems. All right, so long as there is no reflection or reflection of lights, that's okay. Well, please do make sure that it's not going to be a nuisance to the neighbors. Yes, Mr. Yip Kin Yun. Chairman, I support this paper. But I'd also like to make a suggestion. I hope that in future, where there are similar projects in terms of the siting, you will have to consider whether or not traffic-wise it's convenient. This is a place where people would undergo on-the-job training. Well, for the IED and also for the institution that I used to work for, they had similar problems because they are rather remotely located, and for a general or ordinary institution is okay, but then they're actually providing on-the-job training to the workers, and that's going to be a problem. And I'm sure that the same applies to the International Culinary College. I think different people from all walks of life, in particular grassroots, would also be undergoing training at this location. But then the thing is, well, there is no mass transit network or system connecting this with the downtown area, and therefore the role of this institution might be undermined as a result. And I'm sure that is going to happen again in the future. So in the future, when it comes to the siting of the campus, you will have to be careful. No need for an answer. Next, Michael Tian. Can I give my chance to Ms. Chen Yun Han? It's your turn. If you don't want to speak first, then I suggest that you don't press the button. Well, at the 24th of June PWSC meeting, well, government officials attending the meeting included only the Education Bureau. We had no representative from the Education or from the CEDB. I'd like to express my utmost disappointment, because where there is anything to do with on-the-job or vocational training, we have to have this idea that the end product has or can be marketed and also can be commercialized. We cannot expect all the graduates to be absorbed by the sector and then they will just work as employees. All right, given the widening gap between the rich and the poor these days, we all know that we will have to diversify our industries, and yet the administration has been doing all the talk without acting. The most simple thing is about starting up business by the SMEs, and we will have to promote this with all sectors, in particular where that doesn't cost too much, and if they can just work as small enterprises for 2 or 3 people, they can just start their own business. And if we're not able to do a good job, then in the long run, the disparity between the rich and the poor will only grow. That's why for vocational training, we have to be able to commercialize the products and also the outcome. And last time we also mentioned this, that is when you come to this FC, well, can the CEDB tell us for these graduates from the college, how are they able to offer the skills to the market? Would there be support measures in the market to help them start their business? And if you do not provide the information, then I will not be prepared to support it. And still, we do not have the CEDB people here. So is it that you're going to answer my questions, and are you able to do so? Because last time I said that after you've trained up all these graduates, all right, they will be very good cooks and chef, but then you're just giving them the skills. How about financial skills or financial management? So why can't they start their business? And can the administration also come up with a very major food bazaar, so that they can also start their own business and prepare their own menu, and then they can see if that would work, because in the free market, rents are really very expensive. So can we provide a one-stop service to these aspiring business startups? So if the CEDB is not here to respond, then can you respond to that? Ms. Law, are you going to answer this question? Because apparently we do not have any CEDB people here. Thank you, Chairman. Actually, I'm from the CEDB. Even though my title is Deputy Commissioner for Tourism, I'm responsible for answering the questions. Well, before the meeting, I actually tried to understand what Mr. Tian was concerned about at the PWSC meeting. On this item, I am my understanding is that it's an international culinary college set up by the VTC. Well, before this, we were responsible for this item. That's why we hope that this project can help train up more chefs so that there can be more talents, and that would also attract our tourism attraction. And also for wine tasting, we would like to provide more training so that more chefs, in particular the younger chefs, they can be promoted further, and they can also upgrade themselves. With regard to those completing the courses, well, for those who aspire to join the catering industry, or for those aspiring chefs, will they be able to start their own business? We have an open mind. If the design of the course is such that they would not just be able to upgrade their cooking skills, they would also be able to run a business, then of course that can also be supported. But of course, well, today is not easy to run a business, as the honorable member just said. That's why we are actually offering them with more on-the-job training. They are not practicing not just as chefs, they would also be acquiring experience in how they can run a business. I think that would be more appropriate. Mr. Au, do you have anything to add with regard to Mr. Michael Tian's question on job finding and so on? I think mainly I'm concerned about business startups, says Mr. Tian. According to Ms. Law, this is really $600 million for the development of the International Culinary College under the Tourism Commission. All right, it's supposed to have a branch out from the Chinese Culinary College, but then I'm not supposed to answer your question. I'll defer to them. Ms. Chen Yun Han. Well, Chairman, I think I'm looking at it from a slightly different perspective from Mr. Michael Tian, but then we share some common objectives. All right, he was concerned about allowing a young budding chef to enter the business sector. So that's the same as my concern, because after the PWSC meeting, well, nothing has come about from my request, because we will have to be mobile, because we may have a very nice and high-sounding scheme, and then at the time, the Planning Bureau told us that the Bureau would have to take it up, and I took Mr. Greg So to the place so that he would have some insight into this. And then all right, you're actually talking about chef, but then for the tourism commissioner, are you able to do anything at all? No, you have no teeth at all. I don't want to vote against it, because I support this, because I support the young people so that they will be able to acquire skills in the field that they are interested. Because at the time when I tried the Japanese cuisine, I can see that they were very happy, but then rents are so expensive. I'm trying to be constructive, Chairman. Who can answer the question? I have a specific case here. All right, it's about the outlying ferry services. All right, there are 3 piers, and they're going to develop the superstructure so that the revenue can be used to cross-subsidize the ferry services. All right, they also have catering services, and if we can put the Chinese Culinary College people or the International Culinary College there, I'm sure they'll work. And I'm sure, Chairman, you must have been to the Chinese Culinary College a lot. And then for Japanese cuisine or whatever cuisine, they do a remarkable job in cooking. And I'm sure, Chairman, you are quite a gourmet, and I'm sure you know what is good and what is not. And therefore, are you suggesting that they should practice on a job and then they can start their own business later? Well, I was looking for Mr. Greg So to see if he's here. So I don't know what is happening. How come he's not here? Is it that he doesn't have the guts to be here? If the administration attaches so much importance to employment, how come he's not here? So how should I vote? If I do not vote in support of that, I think we might not have lived up to the expectation who have been working so hard in setting up this International Culinary College. All I'm trying to say is that I am upset, and I would very much like to use foul language. well, I don't want to use it. I don't want to use abusive language. But then if you force me to vote, I think the Bureau Director has to be here. I think this is a remarkable design and this is a good location. All right, we are actually allowing them to put up this catering business here at Piers 3, 4, and 5. So, Chairman, you're from the catering sector. Do you agree with what I said just now? I have to chair the meeting, and therefore it's not appropriate for me to express my views, and I dare not teach you how you should vote because it's your choice. So, who can answer my question? Who can answer my questions? Greg So is not here because you're not supposed to answer my questions. All right, you can't just say that, Ms. Chen, I'll pass this on to our Bureau Director. I don't think you are positioned to do that. Well, I think PS 345 are not determined by Greg So. I think there was an item, and we decided not to give them the money or the funding. Well, I don't know. I just read the papers. Chairman, I've done numerous land zoning in the district, and when it comes to economics, we will have to have Greg So there. If he doesn't say yes to it, then it will not work. For example, at Wong Tai Shin, in the district, I've done many projects relating to this, and very often when we approach the departments, they said that even if you approach Greg So, he will not be able to do anything at all. You will have to have the CEDB say something about this before anything can be done. That's the experience that I have during my dealings with the administration during the past 10 years. It's like what I criticized Matthew Cheung. That is for Tin Shui Wai's bazaar. They should be handed back to those who have been affected because they suffered economically in the past, and therefore Matthew Cheung said sorry because at the time it was Carrie Lam's bureau which was responsible for that. That's why I'm giving a hard time to all those who are here. Chairman, I don't want to ask you to take a decision, but I'd just like to level this very severe criticism against the administration. Well, have you respected the relationship between the executive and the legislature? How come you are treating us as nobody when it comes to asking you to answer questions? Mr. Ip Kwok Him, all right, this is also a funding proposal with regard to the development of the Vocational Training Council's International Culinary College. The DAB supports this. We believe that if we are able to provide this for the trainees, is good. What we are concerned about is in constructing this college, I heard that some members have also referred to this. How are we able to ensure that the building will be compatible with the surrounding environment and buildings? Visually, I can see that the design of the building is quite appealing. So the DAB accepts this funding proposal, and as we have already expressed our views at the PWSC meeting, on behalf of the DAB, I'd just like to say that we are in support of that, and there is no need for them to answer the questions. Next, Leung Kwok Hong. Chairman, cooking is an art. Is also a craft. Mr. Michael Tian was right. After you have acquired the skill, yes, of course, you can work as an employee. But then if you want to ensure that what you do is 90% as you would have liked, you will have to be an operator. You will have to be the boss. Well, in overseas countries, after acquiring the skills, all right, they will learn the skills. And it's not just about cooking, it's also about nutrition and how they can calculate the cost and pricing and so on. So everything will be included. All right, for this particular request, when I went down to the district, many young people told me that they would very much like to enroll into the course, and they actually asked me to write a referral for them or a reference for them. I think what is happening now is that it has been turned into something that would be training up talents for the enterprises. So that's the case. But then the thing is, even if you're training up talents for them, under the qualification framework, how would that be packed to the QF?
Well, they might graduate but the structure is not satisfactory. Now they cook this or that kind of cuisine. Well, do they have a course on how to run a business? They just try to save money. They don't give training about the industry. They just give them a qualification so that they can work for somebody else. Now, if one is talking about culinary arts, well, if you merely train somebody to be skilled, now you train somebody to make more money for the boss. I understand that, but it's not really a skill or art. So you have to look at what's the objective of this college. Now, I'm of course not an expert, but I find it rather funny. Now, the lady said, now, I am from the Economic Development Bureau. Okay, your business is tourism, right? Now, it's like in a hospital. Now, you have a doctor who is used to treating children, who is now asked to treat the elderly. Is not suitable. Now, Chen Yunhan and Michael Tan, now, you might not rely on their votes. You have enough votes. So you count your votes as in the case of landfills in a minute. Well, $600 million odd. If we give you the money, if it doesn't work out, then in future you would blame the LegCo, or people would blame LegCo, and the government would say it's not my responsibility. Now, Michael Chen is right. Now, you learn some knowledge, but when you are an operator of a business, you need to learn about nutrition and how to do the sums. If he merely fries something in a wok, that's not suitable. Well, it's nothing to do with me, but I just want to be fair. Now, Chen Yunhan, you want to use expletive? I can help you on that. Leung Kwok Hong, you must address me rather than other members. Well, let me put it this way. It's not desirable. Raymond Wong, please don't engage in a dialogue among yourselves. So, next, Dr. Fernando Cheung. Well, of course, we support the development of culinary skills. So that young people can be trained in more professions, so that they can attend a suitable institution. The ICC will provide a new type of career for our young people. We have to support that. And now at PWSC, we also mentioned that this move towards excellence is fine, but we must not forget those who have special needs, those who are not the top in the grades. But if you provide a way for them to move on through this college, I think that would be good. Now, apart from barrier-free access, now the campus is in a very scenic part of the island. I hope they open their campus to the public, and hopefully they will have a restaurant where the apprentices can showcase their skills to the public. Now, in some cases, these restaurants are open only to members, and the membership fees is over $1,000, so the general public cannot make use of them. Now, they are in a scenic area, they are built to a high standard, so I hope the VTC should adopt an open mode. The campus should be open to the public as much as possible, and so should the restaurants, practice restaurants. Now, even if they are not open 24 hours a day, there should be certain hours that they are open. So we mustn't merely allocate the land and then it's closed to everybody else. Thank you, Chairman. Any answer required? Mr. Au? Chairman, I thank Dr. Cheung's question for his question. Now, this question was raised in the PWSC. Now, I am thankful that he is concerned about these students. Many of them may not be very proficient academically, but the international cuisine at this institution doesn't require high academic thresholds to be met. Rather, we are trying to attract people who have the zeal and interest, and we will provide training to them. Now, at VTC, our overall curriculum structure tries to connect to the qualifications framework. We try to provide a step ladder for the young people, and also for those who want to pursue further education while being employed. Now, as for the campus, we face certain restrictions if we want to open the campus. First, it is a school. We provide mainly training. Now, when we're talking about a culinary college, the hygienic standards are high. We have to control the flow of visitors, the food has to be kept clean while being transported. So there is some difficulty in opening up the campus. Now, when we consulted the Southern District Council, we heard their aspirations for more visits by the public. We committed that we would do our best so that we can offer more activities for the general public to make use of the facilities. Mr. Yu Si Wing. Now, tourism, catering, and hotel industry, they are all related. We see the development in this area being very rapid, and we do need a lot of manpower, so I support the funding. Now, the Chinese Culinary College, now, how has it fared in recent years? When they graduate, how many of them are able to be employed by the catering industry? Now, for the International Culinary College, how about the future career openings? And how would the two colleges rank compared with each other? And how would there be a division of labor? Now, the Chinese Culinary College graduates I can tell you they have no difficulty at all finding work, even though I don't have the complete figures on hand. Their employment rate is 95 or even 100%. So I can say that it has been able to help many youngsters, and the employers welcome them. Now, as for the ICC, it has no graduates yet, of course, but according to our past experience, we have built up a network of relationship with the trade, and we do believe that they will enjoy similar career opportunities. Now, as for the division of labor between the two colleges, I think you can tell from their names. Now, the Chinese Culinary College is about Chinese cuisine. Now, as for the ICC, is for other parts, cuisine of other parts of the world. So the training is very different. Mr. Yu Si-wing. Now, I went to have a meal at the Chinese Culinary College. They actually serve Western food as well, and the proportion of Western food is significant. Now, is it that in the future the CCC will not handle international cuisine anymore, leaving it all to ICC? And in that case, will there be sufficient job opportunities for ICC graduates? Now, the two restaurants are within the same building. Now, for the CCC restaurant, that's on the 8th floor, and for the ICC restaurant, that's on the 6th floor. So you may get the impression that they serve both kinds of cuisine, because you went to the training center in Pok Fu Lam. 8th floor is Chinese cuisine, and the 6th floor is the training for tourism-related courses. So that might be the cause of the confusion. Mr. Andrew Leung, I'm the chairman of the steering committee of the ICC. I'm also a former chairman of the VTC. Now, this matter was given a head start when I was chairman of the VTC. So we train youngsters who may not be very high ranking in the academic grades. They may get only 4 or 5 points in the graduation exam, and they were very demoralized, but now they can get 8,000 or 10,000 when they graduate. And I met a youngster last year who was employed by Conrad. So they may not be great scholars, but on culinary arts, that is, I and my members went to different parts of the world. So I think we want to train motivated people, not academically excellent people. Now, they may have their own bakeries on Cheung Chau. So on the qualifications framework, we take them from level 2 to level 3, and they may also get certificates in the mainland. Now, for the international cuisine side, we may be able to get certificates recognized in Europe, and they can move on to study or work in Europe. So we want to help those who may not be academic wonders, but they are talents waiting to be discovered. So the VTC has gained some reputation in the past 10 years helping this kind of people. Now, Dr. Cheung wants to help this kind of young people, and we support that. Now, at the Thiên Shui Wai, the training institution there, we teach them different kinds of skills, and they may even be able to make deliveries on roller skates. So we are now moving into international cuisine. Now, Dr. Cheung said that he wants the campus to be opened up, but it's not up to us. There's Fire Services Department. Now, we are going to have a restaurant in a tall building, and we cannot open up to the public, so it has to be on a membership basis. It's a clubhouse. Now, Dr. Fernando Cheung may be help in this regard in the future. Now, we'll try to open up training restaurants elsewhere. Every large culinary institution has its own training restaurant. Now, at the Chinese Culinary College, we have 2 restaurants that are partly open up, and the students can learn a lot there, and very quickly they can become assistant chefs and move on to something higher. So we do want to open up the restaurants. For instance, when I was serving at the Design Institute, if you go to Cheung Kwan O, the lower level is open up to the general public. But however, kitchens cannot be opened up because you are serving food that has to be eaten. Now, Populam has nice scenery. The dairy farm had an old building there. If the government provides us with the money, we can open that up. It can become a tourist attraction. Well, if I don't stop you in your speech, it would be rather unfair of me. But I can call upon my colleagues to support the motion. But you are speaking as if you are representing Mr. Au. Well, Ms. Mack, now I thank Mr. Leung for being very clear and knowledgeable, even more so than the government. Now, on this item, now Mr. Leung said the graduates don't have to worry about jobs. But we do have this concern because you don't serve on every as chairman for future terms indefinitely. Now, so we don't know who will be the next chairperson. So, as Ms. Chen Yun-han said, we do have to be concerned about the career openings for the students. We support the item. Now, every young person should be able to acquire a skill so that they don't have to merely move on to higher education to become academic, etc. Now, Ms. Chen Yun-han has made it very clear. She wants the Bureau concerned to tell us the support for graduates in terms of career help. We do not have a response from the administration, and it's not really dealt with in the paper. Now, we want to support you, but we have our concerns. So we will not be able to vote in support. We will have to abstain.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to thank members for their questions. You are very concerned about the job opportunities of our graduates. On the 8th of July, we sent a paper to members, and it's about the courses and the employment opportunities of the ICC, we adopt a multi-pronged approach. We try to increase the job opportunities, including the design of the courses, manpower trend, etc. All these have been taken into consideration. And we are also involving the industry so that the industry's views can be reflected in our arrangement. So for this public project, now we also have a training restaurant and a kitchen. So when students are studying, they already have a lot of opportunities to practice. And if they are in a higher diploma course, they will even be sent to different restaurants and hotels for their practicum. So in the course of the learning, they can already apply the knowledge they have learned, and they can also try to understand the market. Our students' employment rate after graduation has been higher than 90%, and I'm sure we can be very optimistic about our future graduates of the ICC. Now, according to your past experience, actually, we would like to thank Mr. Andrew Leung for his leadership. So that's why your graduates had such good job opportunities. But it's not that you will have such a good chairman forever. I'd like to see him to be the permanent chairman, but that's not the case. So the government has to make some effort. Now you're telling us what you've done in the past, but I cannot trust you. How come the government cannot make a commitment? How come the relevant bureau does not send an official to attend today's meeting? Actually, this is not under your jurisdiction, Ms. Law. And yes, we were just talking about the peer, and it's not Mr. So's business as well. So maybe we should ask Mr. Zhang Pinglang to come. So I think the most relevant government official should attend the meeting, and you should give us a commitment. We cannot just rely on one person, and you are just telling us that in the future it will be as good as the past. Well, we cannot just trust you like that. I spiritually support this project, but I have my concerns. Ms. Emily now, well, I both physically and spiritually support the project. At the last meeting, I already lent my support, and I praised that the architecture design was a very beautiful one, because I do not want to see an ugly building. And this time around, they didn't organize an architectural design competition, but they've got a very good design this time, and I hope that it is harmonious with the environment. And I hope that is a convenience for cleaning as well. Chairman, when you look at it, it's really a beautiful building, and I agree with Dr. Fernando Zhang. I hope that persons with disabilities can also have the opportunities to be trained there. Now, when we went to the Ocean Park the other day, and also Disneyland is the same, that is they employ PWDs, and also for barrier-free access and the number of female toilet cabinets, I hope that you can adhere to the latest standards. I've heard a lot of views from the industry. Actually, there is a shortage of manpower, in particular restaurants. And Chairman, of course, you want to say something, but I'm not inviting you to speak now. Well, do you know that restaurants are facing a serious manpower shortage problem? They have a lot of vacancies. Well, just now members asked you, and yes, we understand that the graduates have very good job opportunities. So actually, I think you should train up more people. Who's going to answer this question? Well, under the VTC, there are training committees, and they always conduct manpower surveys. And in 2011, the survey showed that when it's compared to 2009, the number of people employed in the catering industry increased by 10.8%. And in the future, the trend will continue to go upwards. So we would see that there will be a thriving market, and also for the catering industry, we understand that there is a shortage of manpower. So on the whole, these graduates would have very good job opportunities, and we have confidence that our graduates' futures are very optimistic. Do you know how many vacancies are there in the industry? Do you know that? I think the industry is very dissatisfied because they cannot hire enough people. And also for the cleaning of the future building, would there be problems? How about maintenance? Who's going to answer this question? Mr. Leung? Or who? Mr. Au. Thank you, Chairman. I think I should focus on the cleaning of the future building. When we looked at the design, we have already thought about what the future cleaning arrangements would be like. They are going to use a anti-dust material because, well, it's very difficult to clean the outside of the building. We already knew that. So when we picked materials, we were particularly careful. We understand members' concern because the building may look beautiful and it may be covered in dust in the future. So we are trying our best to address that problem. How about barrier-free access? Well, the requirements are high, but definitely we will meet these requirements. We want to know whether you will be doing better than the set standards. We understand that these facilities are very important. We will pay particular attention to them. I promise that I will focus more on these areas. How about figures? Just now I said that in 2011 there was a survey, and it showed that there was 5,672 vacancies, and it accounts for 3.1% of the total positions, including different ranks. That was the 2011 figure, and as the industry will be more prosperous, I'm sure there will be more vacancies. I would like to ask two questions. One is about the study places. You say that at first you will have 200 places, and then you will increase to 2,000 places. So how many of these places are diploma places or higher diploma? And how about the tuition fee? And for 2015 to 16, there will be a significant drop in secondary school graduates. So will there be enrollment problems? Well, let me answer the second question first. Well, this is both a provocation and on the job trainings. Well, some of our students are secondary school graduates. Some of them are already working in the business, and we have a total of 2,000 places. As for the continuous decline in secondary school graduates, well, we think that there are always students who need training opportunities other than those provided in universities. So we are not worried about the drop in student numbers. And also we will be providing on the job trainings. Maybe Mr. Au can give you more details. Chairman, I would like to thank Dr. Helena Wong for her questions. My colleague is now looking for the exact figures. And in 2015, the ICC will be completed and it will be operating in full scale. At that time, we will have about 400 places for pre-vocational training, and also there will be places for on-the-job trainings. And they are pitched at different levels, for example, certificate, diploma, and higher diploma. Now, if you want to know the details of these courses, I do not have the exact figures with me right now, and if you need them, I will provide these figures to you after the meeting. How about the tuition fee? Do you have the level? Deputy Secretary. Now, we will make reference to the CCTI. Now, the tuition fee is from 3,500 to 16,000. As for diploma is 1,016, and for higher diploma, well, it's a 2-year courses comprising 5 terms, and the tuition fee is between $11,800 and $15,100. Now, for the tuition fees you mentioned just now, can the students apply for government grants and loans? And when it comes to student enrollment, the students limited to Hong Kong SAR residents? Well, there are different levels of tuition fees. For some students, if they have not finished 12 years of free education, actually they can enjoy our courses for free. And for higher diploma courses, our students can apply for government grants and loans. As for courses under the level of sub-degrees, the VTC already has its plans that the students can apply for subsidies. And how about non-SAR residents? Can they enroll in your courses? As for non-local students, for sub-degree courses, they can take in some non-residents students. And I would like to ask another question. That's about the design. Yes, it's beautiful. However, are there glass panels there? And are they tilted? And as a result, would there be reflection of the sun so that the vicinity will be affected? Yes, we have glasses there. I would not say that it's a glass curtain, and we will use a non-reflective glasses so as to prevent the problem. Dr. Lo Wai Kwok, I'm the chairman of the Engineering Advisory Board of the VTC. Well, I am the representative of the engineering industry at Electrical. VTC has been providing a lot of vocational training courses for our young people. This is a very good choice for them. Through taking such courses, our young people can have their own career paths. I have been working in the area of engineering. And for the CCTI, actually, I've used their services and I have tasted the food they cooked, and I have experienced their services. And also the students have been serving in restaurants, and if their performance is good, I will praise them immediately. So after going through such trainings, the students can become professionals. I think this is really something very good. As for the location of the ICC, I think it's appropriate. Well, at the PWSC meeting, we received a paper, and in the paper, it is stated that it is next to the CCTI, the Tourism Training Center. So these are in the complex next to it. So all these are connected, and a more comprehensive service will be provided there. Of course, when it comes to cuisine, it's not just Chinese cuisine. Hong Kong is an international city. So according to my experience at the VTC, well, our members actually are not only concerned about the courses, we are also very concerned about the career paths of the graduates. So for the development of catering industry in Hong Kong, would there be sufficient opportunities for our graduates? Well, then this is about the economy of the catering industry. If members are asking questions about this, I think we are talking too broadly. I think we should focus on the ICC. So I hope that the VTC staff can explain to us more. According to my experience at VTC, I think the participation of the industry is very important because it can monitor the work of the VTC, and also a network can be built so that these graduates can find jobs easier. And the ICC, you may also have students coming from other countries. So what will be the future advisory and monitoring framework be like? Well, you have only 2 minutes left. As for our courses, there are different committees monitoring our courses. As Dr. Low, you are also a member of one of those committees. So in the future, well, actually, we have CCTI committee members and also tourism committee members. So we will definitely be engaging the industries themselves. Representatives from the industries will definitely be monitoring our development. Next, Mr. James Tan. I will be brief, Chairman. Well, catering industry is very important in Hong Kong. Our people need it, and also it has its economic benefits. But when we look at it from the tourism point of view, well, ever since Ms. Selina Chow and I were the chairman of the tourism board, we have been paying particular attention to this. And actually, food is one of the major reasons for tourists to come to Hong Kong. And of course, the number one reason is shopping. But food has always been very attractive. So the tourism board really supports developments in this area. I have heard members' concerns, and I don't think members should be over-worried. Ms. Emily Lau mentioned that the catering industry has a manpower shortage problem now. So I don't think you should be worrying for the job opportunities of the graduates. Now, the graduates can work for restaurants and hotels first, and then they can start up their own businesses. You can see that there are many good chefs now, and they have all been working for restaurants or hotels before they started their own business. So Mr. Andrew Leung was the VTC chairman, and he has done a very good job. So I hope that more trainings can be provided to our youngsters. Well, actually, sometimes I really cannot appreciate the latest culinary arts. It seems that they add a lot of air into the food, and it just looks beautiful and just isn't that tasty. Well, second round of question, Mr. Michael Tian first, 3 minutes each. Chairman, at the PWSC meeting, we were told clearly that most of these places were for on-the-job trainings. Now, for example, maybe there is already a very good chef, and he just wants to learn how to match red wine with his food. So you are actually trying to groom bosses or restaurant owners. So for vocational training, yes, it is very important for it to tie in with the industry to provide talents for the industry. And also entrepreneurship is very important because when one person starts his own business, he can employ several people. And if he's just an employee, he would just be making more money for big companies.
So Hong Kong needs to have entrepreneurs who are able to start their businesses. So in the future, whenever you're trying to provide on-the-job training to those who are already working, then if you come to the FC without any representative from the CEDB here telling us what kind of support measures will be in place to help a small group of people to try and start their business, then I'll be abstaining. And today, as I haven't heard any such policy, and also at the PWSC, I already made it clear that I'd like to get some further information today. And what I've heard today is that they have an open mind. By that, what does that mean? What kind of policy is that? I don't understand it, and therefore I'll be abstaining. Next, Chen Yun Han. Chairman, I've been an electrical member for some 20 years now. Very often, when we look back, all right, I'm not going to refer to the British colonial era. I'm just referring to the situation since the reunification from C.H. Tung to Donald Tsang to now. I think the situation for the young people has not changed. Actually, many have been unemployed for a long time, and the unemployment rate among the younger generation has stood at a very high level, sometimes more than 10%. And Donald Tsang talked about local community economy, and Siwa Leung is also now talking about a sustainable economy, and yet nothing has been offered to the younger people. All right, there might have been a very tight labor market, but then for many young people, they have no way to move up the social ladder. Many of them are unemployed. I hope that you can work together in looking at these issues. Honestly, for Chinese culinary, I've been a member of the BTC. I think they've done a remarkable job. But then if you've been here, I would very much like the BTC to invite you there, so that you can have some confidence in their quality. And I would be all for the International Culinary College, because Hong Kong is a gourmet's paradise, and therefore in the catering industry they have shortage of labor, and inevitably there will be some people who would like to start their business. So we're trying to help the working poor and the elderly problem, and the COP will be going to two places. They went to Japan and Taiwan. We try to look at what Taiwan and Japan have been doing, and we'll also be looking at South Korea. But then on this occasion, our duty visit cannot cover South Korea. How come they've been able to set up so many creative industries? How come in Japan, catering industry is a very important cultural industry as well? Why has that been the case? That's because Hong Kong has not nurtured enough talents. All right, for our graduates after their graduation, why do they have to work as employees? Well, in the 70s and in the 80s, why have they been able to start their businesses, and now why have they not been able to do so? That's why I'm asking this very important question as the FTU. We are concerned about the problem of the working poor, and also the difficulty for the young people to find jobs. And if there are not enough jobs available, why are we not looking at the problem? So when you look at the issue, we are asking why. Well, on numerous occasions when we approached the administration, they are just passing the buck around. Last time, in conjunction with Michael Tian, we asked them to come back again, and we would like to hear from them that, all right, we have this outlying island ferry pier, and we would like to develop this very beautiful pier at the bank of the Victoria Harbour, and we would like them to have more catering services. Well, sorry, you will have to stop because you've already repeated what you have said during the last 3 minutes. Sorry, time's up for you. If you continue to speak, then please press the button. Leung Kwok Hong, 3 minutes, please. Chairman, I think you are very determined in chairing the meeting. All right. we are developing the International Culinary College for the VTC. All right, this is supposed to be vocational training, and therefore, when people cook, you're actually forcing them how they can prepare a cuisine. I think this is really bureaucratic. What do I mean by that? Because in dealing with the problem, we are talking about a mismatch in vocation. It's about the quality of our labor force, and therefore we are trying to upgrade them. But the problem now is that even if you pursue this further, it's not going to help. The problem faced by our catering sector is that it's difficult to start your own business. That's the crux of the matter. And Chen Yunhan said that you should grant them land and premises so that they'll be able to develop their potential and skills, but then that's not supported by a policy. When we talk about the market, as Michael Tian just said it, he would not be complaining about the developer. He was complaining, how come you're not able to offer them with land at low premium or low rent? So this is a mismatch, and of course you might say that I'm digressing. All right, I'll take it back first. But then the crux of the matter is when we try to develop a trade, and when we try to offer support for that, all right, career and business cannot be separated. First, you have to have the trade before you can have a career. And because of this delineation in different sectors, and then you will have a delineation of responsibilities of different sectors or careers or professions in the community. And I think we have been relying on the mainland for its support for us. All right, Donald Tsang has been talking about homeland relationship, but then what does that have to do with homeland relationship? In fact, we are talking about foreign affairs or relations with other places and countries. I think when our economy develops, apparently we are looking too much over to the mainland for support. I think Ms. Chen and Mr. Tian are wasting their time, because if CY Leung does not change his policy on homeland relationship, nothing will change, because he has governance problems. That's why I scolded him. Charles Mock, 5 minutes, please. Speaking in the first round. Yes, I support this item, Chairman. Today I hear a lot of strange arguments. Originally, it's just a culinary college under the VTC. It's a training school, but then apparently somebody digressed to employment and then business starting. In fact, all sectors are having difficulty hiring enough hands. Why are they concerned that the graduates might not be able to find jobs? In fact, VTC has been doing a lot of this, including the training of chefs. As Lo Wai Kwok talked about engineering, IT, and so on, I've been there many times. I think they've been doing this. But then there is no guarantee that after graduation you'll be able to find jobs. You cannot just guarantee that they can start their businesses. I think in a free economy, we cannot guarantee anything. We cannot guarantee that a particular sector will not decline, or that the graduates from a particular course will never lose jobs and so on. And some said that by creating or starting more businesses, more jobs can be created. If everybody is a boss, then who will be the employees? This is going to be a vicious circle. And you also talk about the peer, and you will have to reserve that for a particular trade. Then how about the medical school? Well, in Central, they must be able to start their own clinics. So if they would also have to have their own practices. All right, Ip Kin Yun, you're back. All right, for the younger people, well, let's not talk about it because it's a waste of time. All right, for the young teachers, they are not able to find jobs. But then apparently that's another story, because that has to do with the government's policy. Those posts are controlled by the administration. But then here we're talking about the free economy. So please, Chairman, please control the meeting better. We are talking about the catering industry, and please also discuss more about the college in question and so on. Does any other member wish to speak? If not, then I'll put this to the vote. PWSC 2013-14-17 will be put to the vote. Will those in favor of PWSC bracket 2013 to 14 close bracket 17 raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. Can I claim a division? Because they said that they would be abstaining. All right, there'll be a division and the bell will ring for 5 minutes.
佢而家開始玩嘢啦，你仲要陳婉嫻咧？我都話佢唔會都唔係講唔會，因為佢開個條件就你收團會唔做咁，但係佢冇噏話收團會嘛。佢唔夠票過，佢咪拉布咯，講晒啲嘢，梗係都要。佢好話人哋夠票，佢就即刻同你碎低佢。因為佢用得而係嘅。都唔會點，佢熟手技工嚟㗎啦。 你哋又要喺度望中馬標。現在開始表決。
Voting begins.
在我宣布表。
Before I display the results, please check your votes. Voting is closed. And the result displayed. The result are 54, 4 against, 6 abstentions. I declare the motion passed. The next two items have been singled out for separate voting. They are both related to the expansion of landfills. I propose that we discuss the two items together, and then we will vote on them separately. The first item, PWSC, bracket 2013-14-20. The paper recommends to the FC the upgrading of 163 DR to Cat A at an estimated cost of $7.0269 billion in money of the day prices in order to expand the Northeast and New Territories landfill extension. And the second one is to recommend to the FC the upgrading of part of 165 DR at an to Cat A at an estimated cost of $35.1 million in money of the day prices for the hiring of a consultant to conduct a study on the expansion of the WNT landfill. And to assist us today, we have the Bureau Director, Mr. Wong Kam Sing, and Mr. Albert Lam, Deputy Director from the EPD, Dr. Alan Chan, Assistant Director from the EPD, Mr. Lawrence Lau, Principal Environmental Protection Officer from the EPD. In accordance with Rule 37A of the Rules of Procedure for the FC, please note that Mr. Lam Kwok Hong and Dr. Kwok Ka Ki originally they submitted 5 motions, and today I received 2 more. I received 572 and 8 from Ms. Sito, so 500 plus are from Mr. Lam Kwok Hong. We didn't have time to check if all these questions can be accepted. Concerning the 500 plus motions, some have to do with NT Northeast, others are in relation to West NT landfill, others are related to others. So can I suggest that we first deal with the NENT landfill extension, and then we will put the item PWSC 2013-40-20 to the vote, and then we'll deal with the WNTL up to the vote. So that's a vote on PWSC 2013-14-21. And if members would like to move motions, please note the arrangements being proposed. And if your motion has to do with both papers, then please make sure that you bring them up when we deal with those issues. And also on the 9th of July, Mr. Wu Chi-wai issued a paper asking the administration to provide information with regard to waste disposal or waste management and the design of the landfills. There should be a written reply, and the administration has already submitted its written reply this morning and is already before members. And as at the 11th of July, the Secretariat has received 2 submissions from members of the public to the FC, and they've expressed their views on the funding proposal here, and the electronic version has already been sent to members via email. Members, please note that in accordance with the procedures of the FC, para 43, for any questions raised by FC members, they have to have a direct relationship with the paper in question. As for other questions, they can also raise them at the council meeting or at the relevant panel of this council. The timing for the raising of the questions, well, for the first round, together with the government's reply, 5 minutes will be given. And then for members who would like to ask further follow-up questions, please raise their hands or please request to speak. I can see Michael Tian, Albert Chan, and KK Fong.
And Alice Mack. Sorry, Albert Chan, procedural problem. Now, I understand you're merging the discussion on the two items. However, individual members may have different extents of interest on the two questions. Now, if you can speed up the voting on the Northeastern New Territories item, I think you should deal with the two separately. Now, maybe you haven't understood me just now. We debate the two together, but when we come to voting, we will vote on 37A, the Northeastern New Territories, and then we talk about Western New Territories, and we will vote separately on the Western New Territories. But for efficient discussion, now, very often the policy issues apply to both, so I want to save some question. So the two will be merged as far as discussion is concerned. James Tan, Mr. James Tan. Now, Chairman, concerning landfills, several months ago, when initially we were concerned about the Chung Kwan O landfill, and then at the Environmental Affairs panel, and then in the PWSC concerning Ta Kuling and Tuen Mun, not a lot of objection was heard, so the Liberal Party at the PWSC supported the matters, but in the past couple of weeks the matter became very complicated. Many Tuen Mun area residents, District Council, Tuen Mun District Council met with the Chief Secretary, and they all opposed it with one abstention. Now, several members have proposed amendments in filibuster, so it's not just Tuen Mun, it's also Ta Kuling. Now, looking at the time, we have only 2 hours today. If we have another FC meeting, 2 sessions next Wednesday, 4 more hours, and then Friday. Now, given what we see in previous filibusters, we cannot handle the matters. And then we have a document on civil service pay and NGO pay adjustments. Now, the Liberal Party wants to make clear that we want to support those. We want those to be passed quickly. So, Chairman, if we can postpone this decision so that Lau Wang Fat, Chairman of the Tuen Mun District Council, can discuss with the government in the next few months so that the government can make some fresh offers. Now, yesterday the government was unable to offer anything new to the Tuen Mun District Council and Tuen Mun residents. This way we can save some time. We don't have to take it all the way to next Friday and yet be unable to finish it. So according to FC Rule 39, I propose to terminate the discussion on PWSC 2013 to 14, 20 and 21. Now, Mr. James Tan, according to Rule James Tan proposed to terminate the discussion on these two items, the discussion thereof. In order to save time and to avoid duplication, I propose that members discuss these two items together and then vote on them separately. I propose that each will speak for not more than 3 minutes. Each member can only speak once. Those who wish to speak, please press the button or raise his or her hand. Now this is different from the previous one. We have to press the button anew. Ms. Alice Mack, I see your hand. Sorry, I look at the central part first. Are we able to press the button? No? Has the button been pressed, or is the mechanism on? The system is being initiated because we have switched to a new item of agenda. I think we should be about ready. I think we can start now. So please go ahead. Raymond Wong, Kwok Kaki, Raymond Wong, Chairman. I'm sorry. I named Alice Mack just now. Raymond Wong, I hope you don't mind. And then I follow this order. Ms. Mack? Thank you, Chairman. Now, just now, Mr. James Tan said that he wants to terminate the discussion. Now, sooner or later, we have to vote. We have to show our stance. So I hope we can show our stance today. Now, yesterday, the Tuen Mun District Council at their meeting, the members made it very clear they wanted us to oppose the funding today. Now, unless the government withdraws their proposal, we don't need to find time for the government. We should show our stance. I hope Mr. Leung Kwok Hong should not engage in filibuster. Let us show our stance today and vote and show where the residents' wishes lie, and so the government knows we oppose the funding. Raymond Wong, Ms. Alice Mack's decision is good. Now, you wouldn't have enough votes anyway. However, you cannot depend on people, so we must have filibuster. If you want to adjourn, we support that. We thank James Tian for proposing that. And then Mr. Wong Kam Sing will have several months. You can pacify the Tuen Mun residents. Now, you let them go. You let them have their way in Cheung Kwan O, but you want the landfill in Tuen Mun. Now, they will fight you. So Mr. James Tan wants to save the government's face. Now, you should go back and think about it during the summer vacation. Next, Dr. Kwok Kaki. Now, Chairman, originally we know that Mr. Wu Chi Wai, like Mr. James Tan, will seek an adjournment or termination. Now, we know that the government has made no commitments on stopping the refuse at source. Now, I think there is very little difference. Today, we ask the government to once again submit a clear commitment, especially how to deter the refuse at source. Now, the landfills, the 3 landfills, 18 billion, and then the incinerator, and another 800 million. Now, the environmental education fund doesn't have anything directly with this. Now, the Chief Secretary merely engages in talk. Now, unless we get a clear commitment from the government so that the affected residents in Tuen Mun and Northern District agree with this, otherwise there is no point in trying to rush this through. I support the termination. The Labour Party supports the termination for the future. Now, we asked the government to withdraw the paper. Now, we mentioned this on Wednesday. Now, before you make arrangements to help the recycling industry, you should withdraw these funding requests. Now, at the districts, they feel that you haven't consulted them properly. They feel that they have not been respected. Now, at the districts, there are many planned measures and measures regarding the landfills that haven't been done properly yet. And policy-wise, there has been no concrete timetable. We hope the government will withdraw the paper so that you can use the coming 6 or 8 months to talk with the parties and the district representatives on how you propose to do the remedial measures and how to help the recycling industry. And then in the budget, you should provide recurrent funding in a concrete way. And the general public can also, during this period, discuss the how to reduce the share of landfill to less than 5% or less, so that the government doesn't have to be challenged in a great debate every 10 years, whether it's Wu Chi-wai or Jamestown. Now, we and even us, we support this termination motion. Ms. Claudia Mo, I support the termination for adjournment. I am surprised why Ms. Alice Mack says that we should vote today. Now, well, I'm going to a filibuster, so what vote would there be? Now, we are sooner or later going to die, so in that case we don't have to do anything. Now, also I'm concerned. Now, you say that the government wants to force this through. Now, you're saying that this can be passed today. Some people say they will support this and then they change their minds. Now, I do not see how people will vote. The government lost credibility in Cheung Kwan O case. Now, at Tuen Mun, the CE said loudly that he owes something to the Tuen Mun residents. So let us discuss further. It's not the end of the world yet. Now, Wu Chi-wai proposed it. He's from the Pan-Democratic camp. Mr. James Tan spoke ahead of him, but it doesn't matter. It's all for the same purpose. Wu Chi-wai, on behalf of the Democratic Party, first I thank Mr. James Tan for moving the termination for adjournment motion. This is what we are planning to do, and we hope to get colleagues' support. Now, before the meeting, I submitted written questions. However, it's done in a rush in the past few weeks, and it all boils down to this, that we need proper planning and cost effectiveness. Now, on waste management and recycling, now when we talk about cost effectiveness, it's clear how the government has been thinking. Now, the Environmental Bureau has all these new items. Now, we need to think carefully. Looking at this document, if you do not have a properly thought out approach, then people will not have faith in your waste management. Now, given what happened in the past 2 or 3 weeks, everybody is able to that you haven't convinced us that you have a strategy whereby the entire public takes up responsibility on waste management, and then people will be disappointed. Now, as I said earlier, I have some direct questions, and other members have submitted amendment motions, so this meeting will be very, very long. Now, on Rule of Procedure 39, I think that will help everybody. As Mr. Raymond Wong said, we should ensure that our work in the next few months can go ahead involving all parties concerned, so that in the budget you show your support in policy and in your resources. Then you can propound a proper waste management policy. The Democratic Party supports the motion. Dr. Helena Wong, the Twin Moon District Councillors and residents have come to fast at Legco, and yesterday some came and they are still up there right now. We hope the government will withdraw the motion first, and then we can discuss. There are many issues still to be resolved. We support the motion to terminate this debate, and we see that we still have civil service pay adjustment as the next item of agenda. We think that's very important. We do not want to postpone that or fail to pass that just because of the landfill issue, because many civil servants will be affected. We hope the government will withdraw the motion on its own. If not, then we will support the motion for termination for adjournment, so that the service pay issue can be dealt with first. On waste management, there are many issues that should be discussed properly. Not only are there conflicts within the districts, you don't have proper compensation measures. Now, we need to discuss the waste management in our society and in this council. Now, we have 35,100 tons of kitchen waste now per day. Now, you may be able to handle only 500 tons per day in your new facilities, and the rest will all go to the landfills. The Environmental Bureau should be able to convince us that you have measures so that the 3,000 tons of kitchen waste don't go to the landfills. You should go talk to the Transport and Housing Bureau that in public housing estates there should be collection facilities for kitchen waste. And you should tell us how the refuse can be separated as source. You should, during the coming summer holidays, come up with a proper system for waste management and recycling, and then you come back and tell us how large a landfill we need. So we support the termination of this debate for the time being. Mr. K.K. Fong. Now, on landfills and waste management, there are many mistakes in this paper. Firstly, the direction is wrong. They say we should manage first, we should do the software first, come up with a network, open the market for recycling industry. Now, you keep talking to us instead about the hardware, incinerator and the landfills, so your values are wrong compared to successful cities in Germany, in France. Now we went with you to Taipei and Seoul. Now they are examples of success, so we should learn from them. Now in Germany the landfill is less than 1%, Seoul 8%. Our landfills handle 22 to 23%. Mr. Secretary, you should give us a document paper.
ADPL has already talked to you. You should give us a comprehensive plan, including hardwares and softwares. How can waste be reduced? How can there be a recycling network? And how can waste be recycled and reused? I have visited the 3 landfills in the past several months. Twin Moon landfill is the worst. When you go there, it's really a barren place, and it has the least grassland and trees, and is the most smelly landfill. As for the other 2 landfills, when the wind blows in your direction, it's smelly, but for Twin Moon landfill, it's always smelly. So how can you convince people? If you do not have a comprehensive plan, how can you convince us? Twin Moon district councillors said that you just met them yesterday, trying to consult them. And it is said that Mrs. Carrie Lam will be heading a steering committee, etc. And I don't know how all these can be implemented. Now you're trying to force this on us. I don't think we will pass this proposal. I don't know how people can vote. I think we will just keep on asking you questions, and then the summer break is just around the corner, and then you will have to wait till the summer vacation is over. So when people press the button, we will really know how they vote. So if you cannot give us a comprehensive plan, we will not pass this proposal within this session, and I support Mr. James Tan's suggestion. Dr. Lo Wai Kwok. Hong Kong people generate on average 1.27 kilogram of municipal solid waste per day, and the landfills are getting exhausted soon. So we are in a dilemma. For municipal solid waste, waste reduction at source and proper waste management, recycling, all these 3 are very important. So how come we are facing this problem today, and the government says that if we do not pass this immediately, there will be huge problems? Well, I think the government cannot shirk its responsibility. For the Business and Professional Alliance, I am one of the members, and I am also a representative of the engineering constituency. As for engineers in Hong Kong, they have been very concerned about the handling of municipal solid waste in Hong Kong, including turning waste into energy, including incinerators, and how different facilities can be improved. For example, the waste trucks should be sealed, and roads should be segregated. Now, I have visited other countries, for example, Japan, and also even in Zhongshan, they have waste to energy incinerators. So the engineering sector has been trying to talk the government into doing all this. As for waste reduction at source, this is not just a slogan. There may also be the imposition of waste charges, and the public should help to separate waste at source. So we have to do in all these aspects. However, nothing has been done in the past year, so that's why we are facing such an urgent problem now. So for landfills, it seems that we cannot do anything but to extend them. We have been talking about waste to energy incinerators, but we haven't seen one so far. We've heard a lot of objections from the people, in particular the residents in the vicinities of the landfills. The CE came to LegCo yesterday, and he said that, well, there are so many objectionable facilities in Twin Moon. It seems that he owes Twin Moon people something, and we've heard that loud and clear. Yesterday, the CS also visited the Tuen Mun District Council. Well, Dr. Lower Kwok, your time is up. You have used up your 3 minutes. Please stop speaking. Mr. Albert Ho, we are not talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of the policy. Now, first of all, we have to talk about fairness, procedures, and procedural fairness. And also, our fellow members would have to be held accountable to the public. Now, the government has been breaking the rules. These policies are affecting certain residents, and there has always been a rule that is you will have to consult the district council first. But on the 2nd of July, the Tuen Mun District Council had this on their agenda item, but you didn't consult them at that time. So you are breaking the rule. And Tuen Mun DC meetings saw a vigorous debate, and there were two parties that almost started fighting. So people have been querying how come it's like this. So the first thing you've done wrong is that you have broken the rule, and second is you have gone back on your words. Now, 2 to 3 years ago, we talked to the Secretary for Environment, and we agreed that a sludge incinerator be built, and we understood that if a new objectionable facility is to be built there, a green light must be given by the Tuen Mun DC. At least a comprehensive consultation should be held. At that time, they set up a Tuen Mun Development Concern Group. And suddenly, yesterday, the CS went to the Tuen Mun DC meeting, and she said that I will do this and do that for you. But actually, that's the old debt. We have been receiving 1/3 of the territory's waste, and now you want us to take up 80% of Hong Kong's waste, and suddenly you say that you are giving this and that to us. And how can we do that? And also, the third thing I want to talk about is, actually, Mr. Ip Kwok Kim is very unhappy. He thinks that the DC has not been respected. Yesterday at the DC meeting, DAB members were almost on their tears, and they said that they wanted the government to do more. So I think DAB members, you should ask the government more questions. And Mr. Leung Chi-Chung, you want to vote for this proposal, and at Tuen Mun District you vote against it. So I hope you can explain yourself. Dr. Fernando Cheung, now the government is trying to rush this through the LegCo. I think this is definitely not appropriate. You have withdrawn the Zhangguanou landfill proposal, extension proposal. However, for Takulin and Tuen Mun, are you prepared? You say that you will be doing waste reduction at source. You will be implementing a number of measures. However, you do not have concrete proposals. You have no plans, and you want us to trust you. That's impossible. Secretary, you don't need to convince Mr. Lau Wang-Fat, or you don't need to count your votes. What you need to do is to come up with proper waste management plans. You have to ensure that such plans would not harm our younger generations and our environment. At least the harm should be minimized. I don't think we can trust you. On the 22nd of June, Pecuniary villagers pointed out to me that leachate has been flowing from the landfill. On the 25th of June, you collected water sample, and then on the 2nd of July at the PWSC meeting, you undertook that the water samples would be tested, and then you would tell us the results. Today is the 12th of July. We haven't seen any information in this regard. You have promised us something, and you haven't even honored your word. That's the most basic thing. So how about the leachates there? Is it polluting the environment? You have never explained to us. So with an attitude like that, how can you win our trust? And how can you assure us that you will do a good job? This is something very basic, just a piece of information, and you have been dragging your feet. You haven't even given us that piece of information. I wonder if you have that information with you, but I don't see it here. And you are trying to force this on us, and you haven't even done your homework. Yesterday, Secretary, you saw me and I asked you for the information, and you said that you will follow up on that. But still today, I don't see it. So, Secretary, how can I support you? How can we trust this government? Even you can't even do the most basic things. Ms. Emily Lau. Well, Chairman, of course, we support Mr. James Turn's motion. I think our debate is being televised live now because this is the hottest news in town. The public is discussing waste management. I think this is very important, and we are actually helping the Secretary. In March, we went to South Korea. Well, they made a lot of effort to educate their public, and then they reached the consensus before they did anything. Today, you can see in the public gallery, we have residents from Tuen Mun and Taguling, right? So wave your hands and don't say a word, otherwise the chairman will criticize you. So we don't just have residents from Tuen Mun and Taguling and Jiangguan. Oh, I think we should care about all the residents in Hong Kong. I've talked to the Secretary. I said that maybe we should put together a waste management summit. I am not saying that rubbish people will be discussing at that summit. I mean, it's a summit to discuss rubbish. Well, I was told that some people are not willing to do that, but I think we really need to have such a talk. Even though a summit is not organized, you should at least talk to the DC. At the PWSC meeting, we already said that. Well, how can we approve this today? Because the Tuen Mun DC has not even discussed this, and Yuen Long DC has not discussed that. Mr. Leung Chi-Chang is here. So, did you object to this proposal there, and you would vote yes here? And Tuen Mun DC meeting was televised live, and I heard them ask these questions. The DAB members said that they object to this, but other people asked them how come they vote yes. Electrical, well, how come they are doing this? Are there two DABs? And Mr. Chan, how can you are smiling so happily? Actually, you said that the public wants to know the true face of DAB, of everybody. Secretary, it doesn't mean that you have nothing to do now. I hope you can talk to all the stakeholders and see how this responsibility should be shouldered. And some people have been bearing this responsibility for a long time. And after you have reached a consensus, I don't think we will criticize you anymore. Mr. Leung Chi-Chang? Just now, Democratic Party said that at the DC, I objected to this proposal, and here will I continue to object to this proposal. Actually, I've made it very clear, and I was interviewed by a radio program 2 to 3 times. And Unfortunately, Ms. Emily Lau and Mr. Albert Ho didn't listen to that radio program. Well, for the Tuen Mun DC motion on Tuesday, actually, the content was very simple. That is, unless the government consult the Yuen Long DC and the Hachun Rural Committee, otherwise we will not support this proposal. So these are the premises. And now I am making the relevant arrangements. I hope the Secretary can go consult the DC. And when we reach a conclusion there, then I will make a decision. When we moved the motion the other day, Mr. Leung Kwok-hung has already said that he will be filibustering. So definitely we will not approve this today. And at the DC meeting, we already passed a motion. So don't smile, don't attack me, and you don't understand the truth, and you just keep on criticizing me. Mr. James Tan made a proposal. He moves a motion. And I think we should give the government time so that the government can explain to us what remedy measures there are. We have a village, Hapak Nai, which is directly affected by the government's proposal. So the government should give us options, tell us how their environmental hygiene problems can be resolved. If this motion is passed today, the government will not explain to us, and I don't know when the government will submit this proposal to us again. So if this motion is passed today, when will the government come back? And if the government does not come back, how can our waste problem be resolved? Now, you are all saying that this should be postponed, and then what will happen? I hope the government will explain to us more clearly. It's better than arguing among ourselves. Well, we will give time to the governments later. Mr. James Toh? Chairman, well, after listening to Mr. Leung Chi-Chung, then it seems that he should support Mr. James Tan's motion because he thinks that Leung Kwok-hung will be filibustering and we will not pass this proposal today. So we will give the government time for consultation. And before Leung Kwok-hung starts his filibustering, we have to decide on James Tan's motion. And by then we will know whether Leung Chi-chung is sincere or not. Chairman, we will be voting on this motion. If it's passed in the second session after 5:30, well, because the next session will start at 5:45, then if it's passed, it will take effect after 5:45. Then will that section be postponed? And if it's postponed, then the government has asked you to hold another meeting on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, what will we do? Another postponement? Well, why do we want to postpone it for several days? Because the government doesn't have enough time to work. At least Mr. Leung Chi-chung won't think so. Well, there are a lot of problems and we need to ask a lot of questions. However, for the next agenda item is about the civil service pay adjustment. So if the government refuses to withdraw this proposal, then we will keep on talking about this item. Then we will never be able to pass the next item, that is civil service pay adjustment. I'm not saying that is the most important thing in the world. However, maybe we should handle the civil service pay adjustment issue first. Maybe we should weigh the two issues and then we should do the more important thing first. Is the government trying to intimidate us or blackmail us by putting the civil service pay adjustment item behind this one, because the civil servants will be going after us if we do not pass this funding application. So if that is the case, I think Mr. Wong Kam Sing should support Mr. James Tan's motion.
I think your interpretation is not counted. All right, please give me some time to explain it. All right, it's already 5:30, so we'll take a break.